Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about 5 dislikes and 5 loves that I have for my R1. And I have no idea where I'm going either. I don't know where I'm riding to. I'm kind of lost, but you know, we'll find out. Alright, so the first dislike and like and love, I would say, it's the same thing. I have a love-hate relationship with this, and it's situationally based. Alright, I hate the riding position, but I also love it. When you're just riding around town, I'm like sitting on top of this thing, my body position, it looks like I look like Chicken Joe. Like, it's very uncomfortable. My back is like curled out, my stomach's out, like it's just crazy, you know. And after riding this thing for so long, my body just starts to hurt. I don't know if it's a me thing. I don't know if other people also experience this. Maybe I'm just a bitch. I don't know. What I can tell you is I don't like it when I'm just riding around like this. Now, I love it when it's in the position of, you know, riding spiritedly or riding on the track. It's very confidence inspiring. Getting off the bike, it just feels effortless. Everything about this bike, it's, you know, the body position of the bike is just fantastic. Yamaha really knocked it out of the park with that portion of it. It is a track monster, in my opinion. And, you know, I will say, disclaimer, this is all opinion based. Nothing I have to say is facts. Except to me. It's a fact to me. Jesus Christ. Since I did that like, now I'll do another dislike. How do I say this? I hate the throttle. But for normal street riding, it's awful. It's very twitchy. If you aren't riding above 44 miles an hour, trying to get the correct throttle position, because it just wants to go, especially in first gear. Like it's dying to just go. So like just the slightest bump and off the throttle and my nuts are into the tank. It's a mess. I hate it. It makes me not want to ride the bike. You know, not only am I already uncomfortable from the body position riding on the street, then you're gonna add me slamming my nuts into the tank every once in a while. I mean, I've kind of gotten used to it after owning it for years, but it still catch you off guard every once in a while. Another love that I have for this bike, but a love that I do have for this bike, is gonna be the engine. Like, just listen to this thing. Oh my goodness, it sounds so great. That person thought I was trying to get around him. That's fine. That's fine. What a guy. But anyways, the engine. The sound is amazing. You can tell it apart from all the other bikes. What a guy. Thank you. Oh, alright. See, the engine's that powerful. He heard it and he was like, you know what? Let me get out of this guy's way. But yeah, the engine, it's just so unique. The character of it, the way it sounds, it's just lovely. It really is. And having ridden, you know, for 8 years, I still have a really hard time telling the difference between 600cc and 1,000 bikes, unless it's a crossplane or a V4. And sometimes a V4 and a crossplane can sound very similar. You can tell a Yamaha bike very easily. Sometimes it's a little difficult to tell them apart. Just like it is hard to tell apart the other 600 to 1000 cc's. I know the 1000 cc's are a little throatier, but even then, like it's hard for me to tell sometimes, because you know, exhausts change things. People get slip-ons and full exhausts, and each exhaust kind of has its own unique character a little bit. But I know when I hear a 1000, Yamaha 1000, this crossplane is just, it's great. It's smooth. The power delivery is just the entire time. You know, there's no there's no point in the power band that I feel is lacking. Granted, I will say I did get this thing tuned, so that does change a little bit. And I got it tuned because I wanted to stop racking I wanted it to be, the throttle to be smoother. And it fixed it. It did fix it. It's not as bad as it used to be. So if you do have an R1, I do suggest getting a tune. But it just didn't make it go away completely. But the power delivery is great. I love it. It puts a smile on my face every time I crack it open. As for another dislike, I do not like. I really love this thing because I can tell you my likes about it real easy, but I always gotta like double check what my dislikes are. The throttle one is easy and the seat position one is easy, but other than that, like, it is kind of difficult to narrow it down. And that's just 2, and I had to write down 5 or think of 5. I don't like that you can't change the rider modes on the fly. That pisses me off to no end. Why can I not change the rider mode? Like, I understand locking it in if you're like doing a pull and then you like cut power from the engine. Like, okay, that makes sense, like why you'd want to do that. But like, why can't I, like, I can't even change it. I can't change it unless I'm at a dead stop in neutral, I think. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I know for Suzuki bikes, you can change it on the fly, and they only have A, B, and C mode. It's a lot easier to change. The only things that I can change on the fly with this thing are traction control and skid control. Other than that, I can't change power or, like, just rider modes. And it upsets me. It upsets me dearly. I ride around in mode B all the time because I can't change it, and I don't want to be, I don't know, I wonder if riding in mode C, I'm probably going to test this out now, but riding in mode C, it might take me, it might make the ride a little bit smoother. I don't remember exactly, because I got this bike tuned through Boss, and I don't remember what they said mode C does, but, you know, maybe I'll check it out. It's kind of, maybe it's my fault for not doing the due diligence of checking that out. I think B is for spirited riding, which is what I like to do most of the time as it is. So to have it in C and then go down a windy road that I'd want to be in mode B for, and, you know, it's just, I wish I could change it. I like the power availability of this bike a lot. I don't think that's unique to this bike. I think it's just kind of a 1000 thing. I know, because I came from an R6 to this, and the thing about the R6 is you don't get power until like 8,000 RPM. That's why you'll hear guys ride around at, like, you know, it sounds like they're revving the dog shit out of their bike. And it's because they don't have any power anywhere under 8,000 RPM. I like to use the analogy like it's a big turbo car. You know, whenever you see big turbo cars do pulls, it's like there's nothing there. You hear it winding up. You know, you're like, what's going on? Is it gonna go anywhere? And then all of a sudden, all the power in the world is available to you, and you're hauling absolute ass. And it's the same thing on the R6 and other 600 bikes. I think the Honda and the Suzuki get it lower, their power lower in the power band, but still, you know, this, let's see here, I'm at 4,000 RPM. It's like ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. If I need to pass somebody, not a problem. I don't even need to. Why is that person getting over like that? I don't need to downshift if I'm in 6th. I don't need to do anything. I just have it there. And it's smooth. It's smooth power. It's so smooth. Trey bought a brand new 2021 GSXR 1000, and it just vibrated the crap out of me. By the time I got off of the thing, my hand felt like I had just been handling a beehive, and I couldn't tell if my hand was numb or not. It was just awful. I didn't like it. You know, if you have a bike, if you have a Gixxer, to each their own. I'll make fun of you a little bit. You know, I think Adobo Moto has it correct. I really do think that guys that own Suzukis, they're a little sus, just a little bit. Because, you know, they brag about them too much. Like, oh, you like it vibrating on your butt, don't you, huh? Weirdo. Look at all these Tropicana train cars. Ready? Love it. Sounds fantastic. But yeah, I'm gonna take a little break from the likes and dislikes. And then I'll share my last two of each. Beautiful Sugarloaf Mountain, might I add. It's really pretty from up there and looking down at all this stuff. But yeah, you know, I toyed with the idea of selling this thing just because of all my dislikes, but I just couldn't see myself selling it and, you know, regretting it. I could see myself selling it and regretting it, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't want to have to go out and try to find another one of these R1s. You know, some guys don't take care of their bikes that well. And you're seeing that with the R6 community. Honestly, in my opinion, I've been looking at the R6s and seeing, you know, the prices and seeing what they're going for and seeing the miles and seeing what the fairings are looking like. The fairings have been replaced. There's about 40,000 miles on the bike, which is fine if the bike was taken care of. But the fairings have been replaced, so I don't know. I don't know if it's been sitting outside its whole life. It just looks rough. And people want so much money for those bikes because they discontinued them. And they're talking about discontinuing this bike. They just came out recently and said that they weren't going to do it, but I don't know how much the market's going to survive here, because every time I go into the Yamaha dealer or any dealers, they say that they have a hard time selling 1000cc bikes. You see them all the time, but everybody gets them on the used market. Not a lot of guys go out and buy brand new. So I don't know how sustainable, and especially if MotoGP and racing is going over the way of the R9, I don't see this bike being around for that much longer. And it's such a special bike. You know, it's almost like the two-strokes. Like, I don't know if they still make a two-stroke that's roadworthy. And if you had a two-stroke bike that was, you know, from the superbike era and that style of bike, you know, it would be a treat to own. Yeah, I do want to kind of put this bike up for some time, get something different that's a little bit more comfortable. You know, I will miss a lot of the things about this bike, you know, not riding it all the time. But yeah, no, it's funny because, like, as much as I would advise people not to get this bike, I don't know if I could sell it. I don't know if I have it in my heart to sell it. I really don't. I got a sign just said slow down, asshole. Yep, definitely gonna listen to that type of energy. Oh my goodness. Back to the likes and the dislikes. So I left off on a like, now I'm gonna go to another dislike. I don't like how you were perceived when you have a 1000cc bike. Like, people, like, I got this bike for me. I don't care what anybody else thinks about me owning it. You know, I have a lot of people, you know, everybody makes comments, they're like, oh, I'd kill myself on that thing. Like, okay, cool, don't ride one. Stop talking to me. But you also get other people that, like, they're like, oh my god, you have a this, that, and the third. You know, not that big of a deal. All you need to have is either enough money or good enough credit, and you can go out and buy this thing. It's not that big of a deal. To me, at least. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've owned it for so long, or maybe I've just grown up and I'm turning into Squidward. The thing. Look at this plane. Imagine having that as a as a lawn ornament. That's crazy. People pay more respect to the bike than they do the rider, which I kind of understand on one hand, but I don't know. It's anybody can go out and buy one of these. I knew a dude that started off on a 1000cc. I'm surprised he didn't die, to be honest with you. He got it for stupid cheap, so he went out and got the 1000. He was a little guy too, so we all thought he was stupid for starting on a 1000. And now, the sentiment is you're stupid if you don't start on a 300, which I think is ridiculous. I think you can start on whatever you feel comfortable with. I do think there's a maturity thing. If you don't respect the bike and you aren't mature enough to understand the consequences of having the faster bike, which, looking back on it, maybe I made some dumb decisions on my first 600. But yeah, now for my next bike, it's got to be the looks, man. I really love the way this thing looks. I like the way that this one looks more than the 2020s to 2025s personally. I don't like the wings. I think the wings are silly. They look good, but I think the idea of them are silly. I like how aggressive the looks are. I think it looks unique to other 1000s. It's pretty easy to mix up. Maybe not the ZX-10R, but the 6R, the Honda 1000, CBR 1000, and the Ducatis. They kind of look similar-ish. If you're not into the motorcycle space, like I could 110% see you mixing those bikes up and not understanding how different they are. Because I ride, I know. But I like the LED lights, the daytime running lights. I think it's a good touch on the bike. Anyways, I just got off the phone. But yeah, I like the LEDs, the shape of them. I like them in comparison to the new bike. The new bike, the 2020s to 2025s, I didn't like I like the sides, the side fender or side fairing better. The way that they connected it on the 2015 to 2019 bikes, it looks cheap, and it kind of is reminiscent of like the older bikes. Like it's that the piece that goes like underneath the tank and comes up. It looks very cheap, but it is what it is. Everything else though, from the tail to the front of the bike, gorgeous. I love it. Final dislike of this bike: the cost. Dude, the cost of this bike is so crazy expensive, and I didn't know some of it going into it. I didn't realize how expensive 1000s are. Like, yes, I understand the buying price of it, was what it was when I bought it. I think the MSRP when I bought this one was like 16.5 or 17. Now they're up to like 18.9, 19.9, 20K, something like that. They've gone up crazy since I've owned this one, which is another reason why I couldn't see myself buying or selling this thing, because just to get a new one is so incredibly expensive. But like the maintenance costs, crazy. The tires, they're not too much more expensive than the R6s, but they're expensive enough. But yeah, so when I first got this bike, I quoted myself for insurance. It was like a couple $100 a month. I took a loan out on the bike. I was like, whatever. I was 22. It's like, okay, like that's fine. I'm down with that. I didn't have any other like payment on anything. Whatever, right? I bought the bike, and the day that I bought it, it was really shit outside. It was rainy. I was like, I'm not gonna ride this bike in that. So I waited until it cleared up. I went and bought the bike home. Still didn't ride it for a couple days after that. I finally got insurance on it before the next time that I rode. I couldn't get insurance for under $400 a month for this thing. just remembering like how expensive it was. If it wasn't for Dairyland, I don't know what I would have done. Dairyland really did save me. I was running a tight budget though. I snapped one of my turn signal lights in the garage because I still have the factory turn signals. I just have, like, Graves made it so that you don't need to get a it doesn't have like new turn signals or anything, because I think that's the kit that I have. I think I have a Graves fender eliminator on it, and yeah, that alone was like 120 bucks. With the R3, I wrecked it at New Jersey. I fixed it for less than $100, I think, when it was all said and done. Don't get me wrong, those parts were Chinesium, but I got a new exhaust, new windscreen, new, what else did I get? I got a new, this clip-on bar, and a new lever, and it was under 100 bucks. Like, you can't, like, it's just insane. I mean, obviously, right, like the bike, like, you spend more money on the bike. Like a brand new R3 is only like $5 grand. A brand new R1 now is like 20. All right, like, I get that, but still, it's ridiculous. And now for my last love of this bike, it's got to be the electronics. The skid control has saved me. The ABS scared the absolute shit out of me the first time I felt it. And the lift control has saved me a lot of money. When I was on the R6s, I was a big fan of popping up a wheel. It was fun. It got the people going. It was a good time. But man, were fork seals expensive. I never wanted to mess around with the front suspension. I didn't want to learn. You know, I've done a lot of work on these bikes, and suspension is kind of one of those things that I don't want to touch. I don't want to mess that up, so I usually pay for it. It was about 500 bucks every time I got fork seals, and I think I want to say that I did that 3 times, and I was like, all right, that's enough. So the lift control on this bike, it pretty much, I could be in first gear and drop the clutch, and it's only going to bring up the front wheel like that high up off the ground. And it's great. Like, I haven't, you know, I have 12,000 miles on this bike. Never gotten fork seals on it. Haven't needed to. Gotten all the maintenance checks done from the shop. You know, I've met my 10,000. I'm about to hit my 12,000 maintenance mark. And I haven't, you know, it's been great. I haven't needed fork seals. I just had really rough landings when I had the 600. So that saved me money there. Which, I don't know, I've kind of grown out of that stuff anyways. You know, used to be a big time wheelie man. But we all grew up at some point. Another thing, so I was coming up to a stoplight like this on the, when I first got the bike, and it was like yellow, and I was kind of like on that in-between on if I should go or if I should stop. And last second I kind of decided I would stop, and I slammed on the front brake expecting the back wheel to come up. It did not. It felt like the front tire was slipping underneath me, and it scared the shit out of me. I thought I was going down for sure. I was like, there's no way. What is going on right now? Am I about to just drop my brand new bike? I did not drop the bike. It was the ABS kicking in, and I hated it. But no, I mean, you know, riding on the street, it's fine. The skid control saved me in the rain on the track one time. I caught it on video, but you can't really tell. So I'm not even gonna mind. I'm not even gonna show it because it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, it also gives you just a little bit more rider confidence. I've had it save me on the street. I went over a white line. It saved me going over that white line because, you know, it was cold out and it slipped a little bit, but it caught it. Especially, you know, I also hit tarmac pretty quick after that. Those are the, you know, my 5 loves and hates of this bike. I don't think you know, I tried to sell it And I think if somebody would have gave me money, somebody was like pretty close. We were about $300 off of my bottom, and I wasn't gonna go past my bottom. You know, and I could have seen it go then. And you know, looking back on it, that was about a year ago, maybe 2. I'm glad that it didn't go through.
Brainstorming ideas, you know what I mean, that I can hit y'all with, you know what I'm saying, to keep this shit, keep the vision alive, and to just keep this shit flowing, you know what I'm saying? No doubt.